Within the 501 Big E category, there is one that comes right after the 501-501W name. In terms of the year, I'd say it's from 1968 to approximately 1969. I can't quite confirm at this moment, but this is the 501 S-type. We call this the Type Series. As you can see, this has a letter S right above 501. There are various theories about this as well. About 20 years ago, when I first got interested in vintage denims, I remember seeing the 4 types in a magazine: S-type, A-type, F-type, as well as I-type. There are 4 types of letters written on it. Regarding the years, I think they were all manufactured around the same time. It is the one after the 501-501W name. I actually believe there's a little bit of overlap in years. According to an old magazine, the A-type is the highest quality for the time being. S-type is average and F-type is an okay grade product. I think magazines 20 years ago probably only covered S, A, and F types. But in reality, there's also an I-type. It's somewhat niche, but I think it was around 15 years ago that people might have started to realize the existence of it. Personally, I've only ever seen the I-type on the 502 model, which has the zipper on the front, instead of the buttons like the 501 model. Until a moment ago, we also had the F-type today, but it was actually sold today. F-type is also more common in the 505 model. The 505 is also known as the zipper type. And this is my conclusion about the F-type. After looking at hundreds of these jeans over the past few decades. So regarding 501, I think S-type and A-type are the more common type. There is also a theory that it is an acronym for the factory. Some old magazines also hypothesized that it was simply ranks. But in all honesty, the F-type is definitely not a B-grade product, so I believe that theory is completely wrong. Letters being the factory's initial is highly possible, so we're still in the process of finding that out. For the top button for S-type as well, there's also a number. Could be 2, 5, perhaps it could be a 6 as well. For 501-501, L and J are more common. For the XX and 501-501W, there are many K buttons. Combining the types and numbers on the top button, we believe that factory initials seem to be the most plausible outcome. That's what my friends and I are trying to find out right now. I hope to be able to confidently tell you all once I analyze more of these. In the case of the magazine theory I mentioned, I said S, A, and F in that order about the quality. But I checked the magazine and it was actually A, S, and F in that order. A is excellent, S is normal, and F is B grade. Apologies, I flipped S and A by accident. Recently, the stock of 501XX has been going down real quick, and in response, the price is increasing in correlation. With that influence, the price of Big E has also been increasing lately. I mentioned earlier that the W name is very rare, but this S-type right here is 33 by 36. The actual size is 32 by 33. I'd say it's a golden size. Of course, the color fading is also beautiful. With this, the price is now 158,000 yen plus tax. It's a different story to say the old price, But in the past few years, gradually, the price of Big E in a good condition has been increasing steadily. Some Big E actually arrived today, and they were probably washed only once or twice. They weren't even any of the types, but they still sold for 198,000 yen on the day they arrived. Recently, I see many people looking for a good conditioned Big E. This is S-type, and it's a dead stock. The store only has a few dead stocks. The waist is 38, so it's a little big. The length is 30, which is a little short. It's a little far from the golden size. However, all the flashers and guarantee tickets remain, and it is a perfect dead stock. This is a single stitch on the waist, but the arcuate is orange. In the part where the waist is single, the front part is of course V-stitched. The arcuate has changed. This is also the early type. The model immediately after the yellow with a single stitch on the waist and the arcuate on the back. Just like that, there's always a slight change. So there's early model, then this comes next, and then the one after that is the chain-stitched late Big E model. Here, 38 by 30, which is a little larger in size, is far from the golden size. So, it's 358,000 yen plus tax. When it comes to the golden size of this, it can reach upwards of 398,000 yen, and in the future it will probably be even higher. This is A-type. However, as you can see, the size is small. There have been quite a lot of female customers in our store these past few years. I mean, we've been selling smaller sizes even before that, but you know, this is an actual size of 26 by 28. It is a beautiful dark blue, probably washed once or twice max. With the size, the price comes out to be 59,800 yen plus tax. Smaller sizes are slightly more affordable. With this type of jeans in a golden size, like length 33 by waist 36, if the quality is at this level, it will probably jump to about 250,000 yen. I'm giving you a brief explanation today in hopes that I can let you know about the recent rising prices. The earlier ones were S or A type, but this is a model with no type. As I mentioned earlier, the early model has a single waist. In the later generations, after the emergence of Big E, the waist is chain-stitched, and so is the bottom. The single stitch here changes to a chain stitch. The front was V-stitched in earlier models, but now it is done with two lines. Slight changes like these are how you distinguish the early and late models. There is also a bar tack right here. Also, the letters on the patch. It is only 501. There is no S or A on top. In addition, the arcuate is orange. The A-type from earlier was also orange, but the waist has changed to chain stitch. Of course, the arcuate is also orange. It is from the second half of the 60s. I'd say 1969 or perhaps even from 1970. There will be more important changes on the patch if it's from the 70s. But with the Levi's Big E tag, it's an indicator that the manufacturing date was between 1967 and 1970. There are slight changes within these 4 years, so that's how people categorize early and late models. But this is also patch notation 36 by 36. It may be a little big and a little long. This is also around 80% in color. The condition is pretty good. They're around 158,000 yen plus tax. I think the price has increased little by little compared to 5 or 10 years ago. I'm at my store every day, but you barely get to see Big E in a good condition. The number of customers who are looking for it again has increased. 501XX model is too costly at 300,000 to 400,000 yen, so I think Big E can be worn in real life. Of course, it's a good thing of this model, the color is beautifully faded. And the silhouette for these kinds of jeans is a little thinner than the 501XX with a leather patch. It has been tapered since the coming of Big E. I think it is simply the result of the trends in the 60s. It's a little thin, from the thick straight type that you can see in the XX. You'll see them gradually getting skinnier in the 60s models. Even if you measure it by the hem width, it is quite different from the one of the XX leather patch. That's how much the silhouette is getting skinnier. Not quite slim, not that kind of change, but it can be observed. Today, I introduced the changes that occurred in the second half of the 60s. I personally love the 501 Big E too. I probably own about 3 pairs right now. I mean, I sell them and buy them on and off, but I still keep 3 pairs around. I hope you'll find some time to look for these. Thank you very much. It is the 503XX. It arrived about 2 days ago, but it's a 1937 model. I'd like to say 501, but there are only 2 buttons below the top button.